What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Nutrition Talks with me, Tyson the Trainer. Now, today I'm recording my second podcast for the day. And the reason I feel like I'm able to pump out two podcasts in today is, well, you're not listening to this 2 times in a row. Obviously, you listen to this the week after. But I had a nap for the first time that was actually a successful nap. I always hate napping because I always wake up and I always feel groggy. I'm always just like thrown off and then I'm kind of like a little bit spaced out. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? But after recording the last podcast, you heard me yawning a little bit and I was like, oh man, do I feel like did I get enough sleep last night? And I'm like, it was kind of like 2 o'clock and I'm like, fuck, do I just want to lay down for a second? So I put on my headphones, listened to like just some, what did I actually listen to? I listened to deep house relaxed music because like I love house music. For some reason, with my ADHD, a lot going on in the background actually keeps me very focused. I was like, you know what? Let's try and see if this just tries to calm me down. I laid in the couch, I put a face mask on, and I'm like, all right, I'll just see if I can fall asleep. Fell asleep for like 20 minutes, and I woke up, and I was like, holy shit, this is what a power nap feels like. And I'm like, if I can do this more often, if I can get a power nap in and I feel good, I've just got so much fucking energy. Like, I feel like I've started the day again. It's actually really weird. Whereas everyone always talks about, yeah, you know, if I get a nap, I wake up and I feel good. And I could never relate to it until today. And I'm like, boom, I finally got a fucking good nap in. So, yeah, napping. And funnily enough, obviously with the last episode speaking about sleep, I feel like I convinced myself that I actually needed to have a nap to catch up on the sleep. And I'm glad I did. But enough about me napping. Today, we're going to be talking about how to create rules without rigidity. Because creating rules without rigidity is one of the best things you can do to set yourself up for long-term success. My most successful clients that I've had are clients that have rules they follow, but not rigid rules, right? And I'm very big on rules without creating rigidity because we all need some structure, okay? If you're someone like me who likes to have control, you know, you like to set things out, do routine, you're very type A personality, I guess you would say. You thrive off rules. It makes you feel like you've accomplished shit. It makes you feel structured, kind of puts you on the right guidelines, like you just like rules. However, if you're also someone like me who has a little bit of a neuroticism, you tend to go too much with rules. You tend to be you want as much control as you can, okay? And you try and control things that are even uncontrollable. And a lot of shit is out of your control, but you still try and control it as much as you can. It's like, and it causes you stress, you know? You think you need more rules and rigidity and you get to the point where too much doesn't work for you. And funnily enough, a lot of clients that come to me, they have these rigid rules and that's what causes them a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, and a lot of falling off track and beating themselves up because what they're doing is they've taken a good thing, rules and structure, but gone too hard down that route and they've actually put themselves in such a rigid focus that it causes you to fall off track and spiral and undo all this hard work. So what I want to try and help you do is retrain that retrain that thought pattern, which takes time, but just kind of give you guidelines about what you need to be doing in order to set yourself up for a lot of success, okay? Again, a lot of my clients, the most successful ones that have gone on to keep these lifestyle habits in play, come down to the rules they are following. Now, when we talk about rules, a lot of people, you know, there's the type A people like me who like to have rules and structure, and then there are other people who do not like to have rules and structure because they feel like it restricts them or it stops them from doing things. However, structure creates freedom, okay? When you have structure, it takes away mental capacity, right? What I mean by that, mental capacity, I guess you would say. So what I mean by that is you don't have to think about stuff all the time because the more you have to use your brain all the time, you're gonna fucking tire yourself out. So we want to create rules and I guess you'd say guidelines in a way that put you on the right path that you don't have to think about, so it becomes automatic and instinctual. And because of that, you free up more brain space. Remember, the brain is in a way like a computer. You have too many tabs open, you're going to fucking freeze, you're going to overstress, and you're going to shut yourself down and probably fucking freak out. So when we have these guidelines in place that we're just like, all right, this is the path that I'm going on, it makes it a lot easier for the long term because again, these things become instinctual, become habits, and exactly what you want to have. So I want to give you an idea about between rules and rigidity first, just so you know the difference about what I'm talking about, okay? So rules, I'll give you rules that I set for my clients, and then we'll talk about rigid things that people do. So rules that I give to clients, a calorie range. This is when they're tracking first, okay? Tracking is a rule when they first started with me. if they have no issues. Tracking is a rule. A calorie range is a rule. A protein range is a rule. A fruit and veggie target is a rule for the day, okay? A rough step goal for the day, right? So I give ranges for everything basically. I don't say this is your calorie goal, this is your protein goal, this is the exact amount of veggies you have, this is the exact amount of steps you do every day. That is rigid, okay? Having exacts to the point you have to do this every day is rigidity, all right? Because there's a clear black and white pass or fail, you did or you didn't do it, and also it really puts you in a very strict mindset, all right? You have to have this amount of protein, this amount of carbs, this amount of fats every day. That's fucking neurotic shit. That's shit I used to do all the time, you know? With me, with my fitness watch, you know, my steps, if I was at like 12,800 steps, I had to get to 13,000. It had to be a whole number. It was like 12, it was like 13,000, or like it had to be 13,500, you know? I'd have to always move it in one direction to get that exact 000, or again, 13,500. That's neurotic. If you didn't know that, that's neurotic shit, all right? Having to hit an exact protein number, an exact calorie number, an exact fat number, an exact carbohydrate number is neurotic, all right? There's a lot of people that can't stick to that shit, and you wonder why. Why can they not stick to that stuff? Because it's fucking obsessive behavior you do not need to focus on. And the reason a lot of coaches recommend this, but people can't stick to it, is because coaches have nothing fucking else going on in their life. No offense to them, but they don't. They live and breathe fitness, and that's all it is. And if they want to do it, fantastic. But for you, who's a normal person, who potentially has kids, who potentially has a partner, who potentially has animals, who has a long job, who has a busy job, I should say, with long hours, who has other shit they want to do versus obsessing over food and fucking training and living that every day, that's a lot of mental effort. Whereas someone who, let's say for example, me, I got no kids, all right? I have a partner, we have 2 cats. Fucking not a lot of effort in regards to looking after these cats, except when they throw up on the fucking floor. I can go to the gym as many times as I want during the day. I can use a lot of free time when I'm not checking with my clients to track my food obsessively if I wanted to. I can get everything down to the nth degree. I can do everything that I want to do to be obsessive and neurotic if I wanted to, because I had the time, because this is my job. But guess what? It fucked me up in the past, and I wouldn't do that again, okay? But these people, they live and breathe it, and that's fine if it's them, but they don't know how to pass this on, or pass applicable knowledge on to people who are normal, okay? They see it and they're like, they got the rose-colored glasses on, all right? They've got rose-colored glasses where like, this is exactly what they need to do, and they try and prescribe it to a normal person, and the person feels like a fucking failure that they can't achieve it, and it's like, oh, you wonder why you can't achieve it? Because you actually live a normal fucking life, all right? So this is why I want to get you away from the rigid rules. So no exact macro tracking, okay? No exact step target, not hitting the gym 7 days a week, not having to train for an hour, not doing fasted cardio. Like anything that is an exact is what you want to move away from, all right? No more exact specifics. We're going off ranges here, okay? Now this shifting alone of going off ranges is going to be a huge mindset shift for a lot of people, okay? Clients who have always struggled to adhere to their deficit or to their calories overall, as soon as I give them a range, it's freeing, you know? The same thing as when people first come to me and they say, hey, I haven't been able to stick to my diet. As soon as I give them permission to eat more food, guess what? They don't really eat much more food. It's funny because like you go from the scarcity mindset of like, oh, I'm in a diet, I only have this much food, all right? I give the person maintenance, which is again, 300 to 500 calories difference, 500 most likely. And all of a sudden that's so much extra food. And the people are like, I'm struggling to get to that. It's such a mindset shift, which is the very, very interesting thing here. Like the fact that you could be like, I'm in a deficit, this is gonna be my last day, I'm gonna eat all this stuff, and then tomorrow I'm gonna be good, I'm gonna get back on track, it is what it is, versus, oh, I've got maintenance calories, I can eat whatever I want, but even though I'm gonna make good choices regardless. So I want you to really think about that. If you are someone who is struggling at the moment, when it comes to trying to diet, give yourself permission to eat more. Because guess what? You're probably not gonna end up eating that much more. You might for a day or two, maybe a week, but then you're actually gonna be like, I don't like eating this much extra. But it's about the permission, okay? Because you have, again, a rigid focus of like, this is my calorie deficit, this is what I wanna hit. And I want you to change that mentality, okay? It's gonna be a really, really big change for you when you do that. So if you haven't been able to diet, get the fuck out of a diet first, give yourself permission to eat more food. Secondly, when you're gonna go into a calorie deficit, you give yourself a range, okay? So wherever your maintenance calories are, again, maintenance calories is a range too. So you might be like, oh, my maintenance calories is 2,722 calories. It's not fucking 2,722 calories, okay? It's not 2,347 calories. It's not 2,506 calories. It's gonna be a range, and it's probably gonna be within about 150 calories. So if you got the number of 2,622 calories, go between 2,550 and 2,700, okay? But you're like, oh, well, which one do I choose? I don't give a fuck. Go from the lowest to the closest 100 number. So what I mean by that, if you're at 47, go down to, if you're at 2,647, go down to 2,600, between 26 and 2,700. If you're at 2,360, go between 2,300 and 2,450, all right? That's your range of maintenance. From there, you're going to reduce by 3 to 500 calories. So again, let's say you're at 2,300, between 23 and 2,450, you're going to go down by 500. So you're going to be 1,900 from that top number. So 2,450, take away 500, which is 1,950, down to up to 2,200. Is that right? 2,100. So 2,100 to 1,950 is going to be your goal. It's 50 fucking calories. Go to 1,900 to 2,100, okay? That's going to be your calorie range. You have 200 calories there for freedom, for a little bit of play. For the days you're hungry, you get the extra 200 calories. For the days you're not hungry, you don't have to eat as much. Now, here's the thing. Here's the rub. Do not purposely eat the lower calorie amount just because you think you want to diet quicker. That's not the fucking goal here. The goal is to have structure and not rigidity, all right? There is no point in having the freedom to eat more calories if you're going to force yourself just to have the lower calorie amount, okay? Those 200 calories, think of them as backup calories. If you need them, they're there. If you want to have something a little bit more today, great. If you want another 2 rows of chocolate, guess what? The calories are there. Give yourself the freedom. Do not strictly stick to the lower end. I know you're going to do it. I know you're going to say, yeah, but I want to lose weight. I don't give a fuck. Do you want success or not? To change, you have to change. So listen to the words I am telling you. Listen to the advice I am giving you and fucking follow it. Because you don't know better than me. I'm telling you right now, you do not know better than me. This is not your profession. You do not live and breathe this. You have not coached as many clients as I have. You do not have this, you have not studied what I have studied. So take my fucking advice that I'm giving away for free to help you up and to help you become successful. I'm not saying this for fun. I'm not saying this is like, hey, this is just, a thought I had. Like, I'm not giving you investing advice. I'm not a fucking investor. I'm not giving you advice about how to change the plumbing on your toilet because I'm not a I was going to say I'm not a toilet inspector. I'm not a plumber. I'm giving you my opinion and things I know about what I've studied and what I've worked with and my experience and clients' experience, like actual in the trenches, okay? If I give you advice outside of health and fitness, question it. Just like if you had a mate telling you, oh yeah, you should invest in crypto. You should definitely go putting all your money in there. And you're like, oh, have you done that? Like, oh, no, I just heard about my mates doing it. It's like, who the fuck are you? Again, or I'm giving you plumbing advice and you're like, what the fuck? Tyson's not a plumber. Take my advice about what I'm fucking talking about because it's my profession, okay? Don't think you know better than me because I'm telling you, you fucking don't. I'm gonna have to put your little ego in check. I apologize for this, but I'm telling you the facts. Listen to what the fuck I'm saying. A calorie deficit range, okay? A protein range. I've talked about this before. 1.6 to 2.2 grams of protein. Now, funnily enough, I've had clients where I give them the minimum goal. I feel like people get confused when I tell someone what a minimum is. If you achieve the bare minimum, you have succeeded, all right? I will have clients that don't tick off their protein goal for the week. And I'm like, oh, what happened to your protein goal? And like, oh yeah, I just got the minimum protein in. And I'm like, but I've given you that as the minimum. Like, yeah, but I didn't get the top end. If you pass with a C+, you pass the class, all right? You do not retake the class because you didn't fail. The same thing, it's like a grading system. C plus for 1.6 grams, okay? A B minus for 1.7 grams. A B for 1.8 grams. A B plus for 1.9 grams. An A for 2 grams. an A plus for 2.1 or 2.2. There you go. Look at that. Boom. I didn't even think that was going to work. That works perfectly. It's a grading system, okay? But C is still a pass. Calorie range, protein range, step range. Give yourself a step range. Not for the day. Give yourself a step range for the week, okay? Why do I say the week? Because shit happens in life. All right. One day you might be so under the pump, you have to come into work early, you have to stay later, and it's a shit day. Well, guess what? If you're like, I'm going to do 10,000 steps a day, and on that day you don't, and you get 8,000, you're like, oh, I got fucking 2,000 steps less. What a waste. You got plenty of time to catch up. So if you need to do 8,000 steps a day, you have 7 days, that's 56,000 steps. Get it however you can. If one day is 12,000, one day is 8,000, one day is 6,000, one day is 8,000, one day is 7,000, one day is 9,000, cool. As long as it equals that for the week, you're good, all right? Now, I don't want you doing 2,000 one day and then doing 14,000 the other day, trying to do massive swings, but give yourself a little bit of freedom based on life, all right? You're gonna find that you have these rules, and if when you set and follow these rules, it becomes a lot easier. Especially with what I just said about the weekly goals for steps. Try and set weekly goals for everything, right? I actually have, this is how I look at my month. I'm gonna pull this up just while I'm talking to you guys. So I have my little Microsoft spreadsheet here. What is it? It's called My Progress, okay? And it's got all the habits that I wanna do. So I look here. And what I've done is I've written down from the 1st of January all the way down to the 31st of January, okay? Then I've written down the habits that I wanna do. And then every day I achieve a habit, I put a 1 in the cell. So for me, it's like, I want to stop smoking weed as much, I'll put a 1 in the cell. 30 minutes of study every day, I put a 1 in the cell. 10 minutes of Arabic a day, I put a 1 in the cell. Not wasting money a day, I put a 1 in the cell. No takeaway, I put a 1 in the cell. Gym, I put a 1 in the cell. And cardio, I put a 1 in the cell. They're the things I'm trying to work on at the moment. Every day I achieve it, I put a 1. If I don't achieve it, I leave it, all right? Then I've gone down the bottom and I've divided, so after 31 days, I've gone equals the sum of all those together. So basically 31 days of 31 cells and then divided by 31. So it gives me the percentages. So right now, as I've recorded this, it is the 25th of January. Cardio, so far, I have achieved 67% of the month. Weight training, I've achieved 67% of the month. Cardio, I've achieved 58% of the month. No takeaway, I've achieved 54% of the month. No wasting money, I've achieved 54% of the month. 10 minutes of Arabic a day, I've achieved 77% of the month so far. So looking at these things, 30 minutes of study, I've achieved 54%. So I'm looking as a percentage for everything for January, okay? Now it says 50%, 60%, whatever, because I haven't fully done the 31 days yet. When I hit that bottom, it's going to tell me what the percentage is. Now, when I look at this and I go, oh, well, I failed the month. No, I fucking didn't fail the month. That is my baseline. Can I do better, 1% better next month, okay? When we start looking at things at broader scales, it makes life a lot more enjoyable to see that you're on the right track. It takes you out of that I fucking failed mentality and it gives you a bigger picture because you can look way at such a broader scale within a month versus a day or a fucking week, all right? I had a client today, he was telling me, he's like, hey, I haven't gone to the gym this week. Look, like he's got a kid. He's got a newborn, and he's also under the pump at work. He's like, look, I haven't gone to the gym this week. And I said, mate, he goes, I'm pretty upset with myself. I feel like I'm going backwards. And I said, mate, let's look at what you've done so far this month. I said, apart from this week, for the last 3 weeks, how many days have you got on the gym? And he said, 18 days out of 21. I said, you missed 3 days, right? He goes, yes. I said, so as a majority, if we look at the rest of this month, you're going to be in a positive balance of the amount of days you went to the gym. He goes, oh yeah, I didn't think about it like that. That's the mentality I want to help you change. Creating structure, so having some goals, having some structure around those goals without rigidity, but trying to look on it at a macro scale. And I want you to do the same. If you haven't got a spreadsheet or if you haven't got goals written somewhere, put them in a spreadsheet. And I want you to look at the percentage of each month. So right out from the first, when you listen to this, it's probably middle of February. So start even like the 17th of February down to the last bit. Or if you can remember the last 17 days or whatever it's been, write it all out. Go from the 1st of February all the way down. Do this in a spreadsheet and do every month. And look at the percentage you're hitting per month. Because this is actually going to be a very big wake-up call to a lot of people too, to see if they are consistent or not. A lot of people who think they haven't been consistent will probably be like, oh, I'm actually more consistent than I thought. A lot of people who go, yeah, I've been consistent, but I'm not seeing results, are going to look at this and be like, holy fuck, I haven't been consistent at all. So everyone's going to be different with what this is. But, some examples is a step target, like 8 to 10,000 steps a day, if that's your goal, and you click off, put that in. Maybe it's not drinking on the weekend. You get that, right? So then it wouldn't be divided by fucking 28 or 31 or whatever. It'd be divided by 4 weekends, right? Or 8 days, because it's 8 days to the weekend. In a month, you can do it that way. So this way, it's going to give you a broader scale to look at to see if you are on the right track. So guys, if this was helpful, I really, really want you to share this with people, because I think helping change the mindset and giving yourself some rules but not rigidity is going to be a big game changer for people in the future. All right. I do appreciate you guys for listening. I really hope this does help some people. If it does help you, please give me a message on Instagram, because I love hearing about it. And until next time, my friends, I will speak to you then.